Retire Plugged In newsletter number 5. The chilling force number 3 in your retirement window. This is part 2. Planning well doesn't mean being ready by Nora Hartquist. The real truth about retirement. Why is force number 3, cyber risk and scams, important in retirement? We covered that last week, but the quick summary is the scammers know where the money is in your pocket, retiree. Hello, Target. You worked 40 years to accumulate more wealth than the average working person, making you the target of the most scams. We covered only 4 of the most common schemes of the 10 in the last newsletter. Go back to that issue number 4 to catch up. I'd love to cover not just the remaining 6 most common scams, but also several more we've encountered with clients that aren't on the list. That made me realize that although I'm trying hard to condense each one, there will be at least another newsletter devoted to force number 3, cyber risks and scams, just so we can make you aware and help you avoid being the victim of these. So here we go. Today's newsletter may be the most important thing you read this week. The scams we're covering today are targeted directly at those who are getting close to retirement and those already retired. Many of these scams are made possible by information about you retrieved from a data breach. Have you ever received a notice from a merchant, your bank, credit card, or maybe the federal government that your data was breached? You've probably gotten several notifications about being involved in a data breach. So before we start, download this. Why a credit freeze is the best response to a data breach and how to do it. Scam number 5 is government and Social Security imposter scams. I know you wouldn't fall for this, right? They're creative. It usually starts with a call, email, text, social media message from someone who says they're with the government agency. They might even give you their employee ID number to sound official and have info about you, like your name, home address, and more. They often say they're with the FTC, Social Security Administration, IRS, or Medicare, but sometimes they give you a fake agency name. Scammers are trying to get you to engage in any of the following: talk to them, click a link, share your personal data, usually claiming they needed to verify you, or grant access to their devices or accounts. Government agencies will never call, email, text, or message you on social media. Only a scammer will do that, no matter how real it appears. Social Security scams, the real Social Security Administration won't threaten you or suspend your Social Security number or demand repayment of an overpayment, a common threat to get you to react without thinking. They may even threaten to arrest you if you don't pay. No government agency will demand you wire money or pay with gift cards, cryptocurrency, or a payment app. If you receive something supposedly from a government agency, call the agency directly. You can find the number on the agency's website. If you're given a link to click, don't click on links in unexpected emails, texts, or social media messages. They may look like they're from a government agency. Don't pass it on, just delete the message. Probably the best fraud prevention step is to open an account on SSA.gov. The site is secure, and while the prospect of entering personal information and uploading documents may seem a bit scary, it must be done to establish the account. The Federal Trade Commission has consumer advice: how to avoid a government impersonation scam. The IRS impersonation scams: if you filed your taxes and found out you owe, could a scammer call you and catch you? The IRS will never email, text, or message you on social media with threats or demands that you pay, nor will they call you about your taxes unless you set up an appointment. If you owe taxes, the IRS will contact you by mail. The IRS does have private debt collectors who might call you, but only after you've gotten 2 letters in the mail about your debt, one from the IRS, followed by one from the debt collector. Remember, scammers are playing a numbers game and hope to reach you by accident when you're vulnerable. The new scam actually sends a letter that looks like it's from the IRS. This has been effective because that is how the IRS usually reaches out to you. Then there's the Medicare impersonation scams. You get a call, email, text, social media message from someone claiming to work for Medicare. They ask for your Medicare bank account or credit card numbers for your new Medicare card. But it's a scam. Medicare sends its cards to you automatically for free. You never have to do or pay anything. In another variation of the scam, the caller says they need your Medicare number for a medical equipment claim that you don't remember making. That's also a scam. Medicare impersonators want to steal your Medicare number and file fraudulent claims for benefits. The best protection? Call 1-800-MEDICARE for questions about your benefits, Medicare number, or Medicare card, or to report something suspicious. This makes me think about another scam, not really listed as a scam, but it infuriates me. One of our teammates was assisting a client by visiting her mother, we'll call her Edith, in an assisted living facility because the client lived many states away. Edith received a bill for a mammogram, although she'd never had to pay before. Trying to run down the reason, we discovered that Edith had been changed from her original Medicare Part B and a Medigap policy to a Medicare Advantage plan. Edith didn't really understand either of those plans and didn't remember switching, so we delved into it. What did we discover? That someone had called her, knowing she was on Medicare because she was almost 80, and got her to agree to switch to a Medicare Advantage plan. They were marketing, although it was probably obvious she didn't understand. Problem? Once you get into a Medicare Advantage plan, you cannot switch back to original Medicare and a Medigap policy. The Medicare Advantage plan didn't have the benefits of her former plan and had much more copays and deductibles, as well as limiting which doctors she could see. It was a fight, but we proved she was not capable of making that decision, and we were able to get her back on her original plan. Many people get caught in a Medicare Advantage plan because they often promise to pay your Medicare premium, give it to you at no cost, and even give you a gym membership. They are not required, like Medigap policies, to allow you to see any Medicare-approved physician, so you may have a problem when you become really ill. It seems like a great deal, and most participants are very satisfied at first, but later regret it when their costs go up or they get really sick. We'll discuss all the healthcare challenges you'll face in retirement in another newsletter. Then there's the impersonation of your local sheriff's office or a court official. When was the last time you had to be on call for jury duty? You're supposed to check in. Maybe you forgot. You may get a call from the local court stating you need to pay a penalty for missing jury duty. One woman wanted to warn others about a jury duty scam. Perhaps you receive a call from the local sheriff's office saying you failed to pay a fine or a fee and that there's a warrant for your arrest, or you'll go to jail if you don't get pay immediately. Callers often use the names of actual deputies or police officers and may disguise their phone numbers to make it appear they're calling from a local enforcement agency. The practice of disguising the caller ID is known as spoofing. Federal authorities have already reported that scammers will attempt to email a victim false law enforcement credentials to gain their trust. It can seem so real. What should you do? Hang up on scammers, Alexandria, Virginia Sheriff's Office says. Phone scammers are using AI to pose as your local sheriff's office. The FTC has reported over 4.6 million in losses just this year. We're all accustomed to receiving phone calls, texts, and emails. But what if this new scam does get to the US? The Wall Street Journal reported fake cops, fake judges, Hollywood-style scam poised to go global. It involves Hollywood-level production that mimics the machinery of the state, tricking people with fake police stations and courtrooms. Victims are told they are under digital arrest for crimes such as money laundering or drug trafficking, or ordered to remain on camera for days or weeks while investigators supposedly verify their assets. They are then brought live into a courtroom with officers and a judge, a Hollywood set. So, what is a digital arrest? The process is terrifying. You receive a call saying that you're the subject of a criminal investigation. It might be a police officer charging you with money laundering, a customs official claiming they interrupted drugs en route to your home. Bogus law enforcement officers interrogate you on video calls, not just for hours, but for days, as they threaten you with criminal charges and pressure you to pay settlements or fines. It's a terror-based scam that involves holding a person digitally captive, says Frank McKenna, chief fraud strategist with Point Predictive in San Diego, California. They'll get you on a video call and they won't let you go. They'll basically transfer you from one person to another person, almost all AI fakes. The Indian government reported in March 2025 that in September, a retired doctor in Hyderabad died from a heart attack after enduring nearly 70 hours of digital arrest and constant surveillance. We've had victims who have gotten pictures of dead bodies and pictures of car accidents saying, "This is what's going to happen to you." This looks so real. It's catching retired doctors, lawyers, and other professionals. This has begun happening here in the US. Can you imagine an elderly person? How to stay safe? Hang up. Law enforcement doesn't call people and threaten to arrest them. Remember how the system works. Court orders or arrest warrants are not delivered through phone calls, emails, or social media messages. That was a long one. Just remember, your best protection if you're unsure is to hang up. Don't click a link. Call the authority at the real number you can find online and ask Google, is this a valid email or web address for whatever company or government website claimed? Then there's scam number 6, business impersonation and shopping schemes. Business impersonation is on the rise and getting extremely sophisticated. Remember when I said you are the target retiree? The IRA/ACAT scam is all about stealing your life savings. $120,000 stolen from a woman's IRA, ACAT scam. It was exposed. A shocking new scam lets criminals drain retirement accounts by opening fake brokerage accounts and transferring assets unnoticed. You're liable even if you never gave your information to them. New York Times reported the gentleman, Jin Tran, was checking on his wife's IRA account and saw $120,000, half of it, was gone. He stumbled on a crime in progress. Because the process wasn't yet completed, they were able to stop it and eventually get the money back. Had he logged in a day later, it would have been gone and unrecoverable. ACATs Transfers of assets in kind take place within 3 days of the order. If a scammer gets your personal information, they can open an account and pass the Know Your Customer test to set up an account. Unfortunately, scammers are very proficient at getting all your personal information. Think data breaches. However, they also need your current account information, which isn't easy unless you have a paper statement they can get a hold of. Once the account is transferred, it's in your name. So can't you go get it? It won't be there long enough. It's usually immediately transferred into cryptocurrency or physical gold, untraceable. Neither Vanguard, the custodian that transferred the funds, nor Bank of America brokerage, which opened the new account, could give them an adequate explanation of how it happened. How do you protect your life savings? Use the extra security features. Fidelity, Schwab, and other custodians allow customers to lock outgoing transfers and send mobile alerts for activity. Second, turn on multi-factor authentication. I know it's a pain, but turn it on. Third, turn on pre-transfer alerts. And fourth, monitor your accounts regularly. Last, secure mail. Shred or turn off paper statements. As financial advisors, we check our clients' accounts daily. We help our clients access their accounts online, but getting them to actually look at them is a challenge. If we notice something unusual, we'll call the client. We require a trusted contact in case we suspect a scam. We've actually talked 2 clients out of cooperating with a scammer that they absolutely believed was real. But what if you're managing your money yourself? A custodian such as Vanguard or Fidelity is not looking at your account daily, nor would they have any reason to call you or contact you about activities since it's all on you. Another scam? Help to stop fraud. A $740,000 scam targeting retirees right now. The scary part, the smarter you are, the better this scam works. Barry, a retired Virginia attorney, lost $740,000, not because he was careless, but because he was trying to protect his money. Barry wasn't just an attorney. He was a claims attorney for an insurance company whose job it was to detect fraud. This is a retirement scam specifically designed to fool smart people. Below is exactly what to do to make sure it never happens to you. How do you protect yourself? First, no government authority will ask you to move your money to protect it. Second, even if you're checking your account number online, never call a phone number from a pop-up. Third, make sure your brokerage account has a trusted contact in place. Next, turn on transfer alerts and outbound transfer locks. Fifth, slow way down. Urgency is their weapon. And last, maybe the most important, is talk to someone you trust. The FTC warns that real losses are far higher than the $2.4 billion reported by adults over 60 in 2024. The agency estimates that the overall cost of fraud to older adults in 2024 ranged from $10.1 billion to $81.5 billion, depending on the methodology. Large, devastating losses exceeding 100,000 are reportedly driving the surge. One of our clients, we'll call her Rachel, received a call from her, quote, bank, warning her that someone in the bank was trying to steal her money. The bank was investigating the problem and wanted to protect her account and catch the scammer. She was told that to protect her account, she needed to move it to another account outside the bank, and they'd assist her in doing so. Rachel was given the information on what to do and told not to speak to the bank teller about why she was doing the transfer, because these are the people trying to steal her money. She didn't call us to discuss what she was doing, nor did she tell her husband, who happened to be out that day. When Rachel asked to make the transfer, the teller questioned why she would transfer $160,000. Did she know it was to a bank in Hong Kong? Rachel, thinking the teller was lying, insisted on transferring the funds. Of course, we know the rest of the story. The money, her entire life savings of her and her husband outside of the retirement accounts with our firm, was scammed and gone for good. When she finally told her husband, she was so ashamed. They went to the bank, which said it could do nothing and was not responsible because she authorized and insisted on the transfer. How did we find out? Same as two of our other clients when they came to take out an unusually large amount from their retirement accounts. Her husband explained that when she was out of the room, she was too ashamed to tell us. Those are the big scam losses, but what about the small ones that eat away at our money and steal our personal data? We are all looking for bargains, what with inflation making everything cost more. We'll start with common shopping scams in newsletter number 5, including the one that caught yours truly. Meanwhile, you can get our Scam Defense Guide for 2026 at the link below.